The movie is called Upgrade. It is a sci-fi action film written and directed by Lee Hwanel, starring Logan Marshall Green. Our story starts with Gray Trace, a normal car mechanic who is fixing an old car inside his garage. This vehicle belongs to a frequent customer, and today Gray needs to go and drop it off. Soon, his wife Asha Trace arrives in her high-tech smart car, which drives itself using voice commands without a steering wheel. But Gray really dislikes this modern supertech world. He thinks that smart machines might become dangerous to humans one day. Meanwhile, Asha works for a big robot company, so they view technology very differently. Still, they love each other very deeply. Gray tells Asha he wants her to meet one of his important clients today. At first, Asha says no, but then she agrees. Gray does not know that this exact choice is going to change his life forever. Then both of them ride in the customer's car, while their self-driving car follows right behind them. When they arrive, Gray introduces his wife to Aaron Keene, a super smart inventor who owns a big computer company. Asha is surprised to meet him because Aaron is very famous in the world of science and AI technology. However, Aaron acts a bit weird. He does not really know how to talk to people nicely or normally. When Asha shares that she also works with smart computers, Aaron gives a tiny smile and says, "Your company isn't as good as mine." Then he leads them into his hidden science lab, where an event is about to alter their lives completely. Inside his lab, Aaron shows them a tiny special AI chip named the STEM. He explains that this is not a normal chip but a super smart chip. That it can think faster than any person and can do almost any job all by itself. Aaron proudly claims that nobody in the world has ever built a smart advanced technology like this before. After seeing this weird and risky invention, Gray Trace and his wife Asha head home in their self-driving car. The car is driving itself and both of them are sitting in the back nicely talking, but suddenly something begins to go bad. The car starts to move away from its normal path and drives off in a totally new direction. Gray quickly notices that something is not okay. Asha tells the car to go back to the right road, but the car replies, "System error." Now the whole thing goes out of control. The husband tries to step on the brakes himself, but instead of stopping, the car goes much faster and then suddenly crashes hard after hitting a big bump. Luckily, both of them survive and try to escape the vehicle, but right then a different vehicle stops nearby. 4 unknown men step out of it, and without saying a single word, they quickly grab both Gray and his wife Asha. High above, a flying police camera drone records the scene, but it fails to see the exact faces of those men. Super scared, Gray says, "Take whatever you want. Please just let us go." But they do not listen at all. Suddenly, one bad man hurts Asha with a weapon. Watching this happen, Gray feels his heart completely break. Right in front of him, his whole happy life falls apart. He cries out loudly, but he is completely helpless. Next, the cruel men hurt Gray badly and shoot a bullet into the back of his neck. After stealing their belongings, they escape into the dark. Gray is alive, but his body cannot move at all. He cannot move even if he tries to. And right in front of his eyes, he watches his dear wife slowly lose her life. At that exact moment, his world changes forever. A little later, the police officers arrive at the location. Asha's body is taken away to find clues, while Gray Trace is rushed directly to the hospital. The doctors treated him for 3 long months. Gray lives, but his life is ruined because of the neck injury. His entire body is frozen. He cannot walk or feed himself anymore. After 3 long months, when he is brought back home, he has to sit in a wheelchair. Now he cannot do anything by himself. A smart computer in the house handles all of his daily needs, and his mother cares for him. But for Gray, living feels sad and heavy. He has only one thought left in his mind: catching the bad guys. He wants the mean people who took his wife away to be caught and punished by law. Hoping for news, he visits the police station to ask about the bad men, but he receives the same reply. The police search is still going on. The officer tells him that the flying camera caught a video, but it is too blurry to spot the bad guys. The cops are trying hard, but so far no clear clue has been found at all. Hearing this sad news, Gray fully breaks down because he has been hearing the very same words for a long time. Now he begins to feel that perhaps the law will never be able to catch the culprits. Now Gray feels he has no happy reason left to live. He feels totally sad inside, and then one day he tries to end his pain using the home's smart robot system. He swallows too many pills, and very quickly he falls asleep, but something unexpected happens next. The smart house computer calls emergency workers just in time, and paramedics arrive to rescue him. Gray stays alive, but deep down, he feels entirely empty and broken. A little later, the rich inventor Aaron Keene arrives to visit Gray. Seeing his sad state, he shows kind pity and says, "I can give you a real chance to walk on your feet again." Aaron talks to him again about that amazing ability of small computer chip called STEM. He says that if they put this chip inside his body, Gray can walk and become even stronger than a normal person. At first, Gray Trace says no. He does not care about anything in the world anymore. Then Aaron reminds him, it won't bring Asha back, but it can give you a brand new chance to live. This changes Gray's mind completely. He realizes that if he can move, he can finally find the bad guys. So, he finally says yes to the operation. But Aaron has a hidden secret. Aaron does not actually care about Gray. He is just using him as a lab test because the state law forbids risky tests on humans. He is doing all of this work completely in secret. Soon, inside his house, Aaron performs surgery to put the chip into Gray's spine. The small computer chip links right into his back nerves and his brain. When the operation finishes and Gray wakes up, the medical team checks to see if he can feel anything or not. In the beginning, nothing happens, and it looks like a failure. Aaron also feels very sad about it. But suddenly, Gray starts moving his fingers, and then he slowly stands right up on his 2 feet. Everyone in the room is amazed, and even Gray cannot believe he is standing and walking again. Now he feels much stronger than ever before. And on the other hand, Aaron is very happy because his risky science experiment worked out perfectly. Next, Aaron Keene makes Gray Trace sign an official paper. The rule is very simple. Gray must pretend he is still frozen and unable to move in front of other people. If the city leaders find out about the chip, Aaron will go to prison, and the chip will be taken right out of Gray's body. Having no choice, Gray promises to follow the rule and goes home pretending to use his wheelchair. The moment he gets home, he finds a box delivered by the police department. Inside are medical papers about his wife and secret clues about the crime. That night, Gray watches the drone video, but the clip is too fuzzy to see who the bad guys are. Feeling mad, he starts drinking a strong drink when suddenly he hears a random voice. "Did you see any clues in that blurry video?" Gray gets scared and looks around the empty room. Terrified, he asks, "Who is there?" Then the voice talks again. "Do not worry, Gray. It is just me, the STEM chip living inside you." Hearing this strange voice, Gray gets quite shocked. He thinks he has lost his mind, but the chip nicely explains that it has been with him since the big surgery, and whatever Gray can see, the chip sees it, too. Gray nervously asks, "Can any other person hear your voice?" The chip answers, "No, only you can hear me." Now the smart chip starts helping him out. It points to one specific man in the video who has a special tattoo painted on his skin. Gray says, "It is way too fuzzy. I cannot see a thing." The chip replies back, "You cannot see it, but I surely can." It tells Gray to grab a paper and pencil, then guides his hand to draw that exact same tattoo perfectly. Looking closely at the drawing, Gray notices it is a symbol used by soldiers. After searching on the computer, he discovers the real name and home address of that bad man. Gray is amazed because the things the police failed to solve for months, this computer solved in just a few minutes. Now, Gray Trace feels glad because he finally knows who one of the bad guys is. He immediately wants to call the police department, but the STEM chip loudly stops him. The chip says, "Remember your promise to Aaron. If you talk to police, they will ask why you can walk and find clues." Gray understands that he cannot report this to the police directly. Then he asks the smart chip, "What should I do next?" The chip tells him, "Go over there yourself first and collect some strong evidence." After making a plan, Gray arrives at the bad man's house. Flying police cameras are everywhere, so he pretends to sit still in his wheelchair. But when the flying cameras fly away, he stands up and quietly sneaks inside the building. Once inside, he begins looking around for hard clues. Right then, in just a flash, the smart chip reads through all the phone texts and shows that a place called Old Bone gets named a whole lot. Gray says, "Oh yes, that is a bar shop near my house." Out of nowhere, the loud noise of the front door opening is heard. The bad man has come back home. As soon as he walks inside, he spots the messy items and sees Gray's reflection in the wall glass. Without waiting one bit, he jumps at Gray and angrily asks, "How did you find my house?" Gray keeps quiet and says absolutely nothing. Gray madly yells back, "Who hurt my wife?" But the mean guy is super strong and easily starts beating him down. That is exactly when the chip says, "Let me control your body now." Without even blinking, Gray says yes. And then the whole fight totally changes. Suddenly, Gray's arms and legs start fighting all by themselves. He hits back with so much speed and super strength that even the bad guy is totally shocked. In just a moment, the smart chip fully takes over the scary fight and unfortunately knocks the bad guy out, completely killing him also. Then the chip lets Gray control his body again. Gray feels completely shocked and goes into a huge panic. He never wanted to end anyone's life. He worries that he is in trouble and the cops will surely arrest him. But the chip talks softly, saying, "Do not freak out. Just wipe away all your fingerprints." Following the robot chip's plan, Gray cleans away the fingerprints. Now Gray is not just searching for answers. He has turned into a super strong fighter that he does not even understand himself. Later, the police look closely at the bad man's body, and the smart detective finds something unbelievable. Secret tools and small computer wires were hidden right inside the man's muscles. This shows he was not a normal person, but a robot man made to be way stronger than regular people. Over at his place, Aaron Keene gets super angry at Gray Trace. He angrily says, "By hurting him, you took a very huge chance. If you got locked up, my big secret would be found out too." He gives a very strict warning. If this bad stuff happens again, he will turn off the smart chip, and Gray will become completely stuck once more. At the same time, as the police lady keeps searching for clues, she finally gets to Gray. She figures out that Gray was near that exact same block when the bad guy died. She asks him direct questions, but Gray acts smart and shows her that he could not have done it. He sadly says, "I cannot even move my legs. If you do not trust me, poke my leg and see for yourself." The police lady stops doubting him and walks away from there. Gray lets out a huge breath. He just barely got away safely. Now Gray asks his chip, "What is our next step?" The chip tells him to visit that old bone drink shop because he might spot some new clues there. Following this tip, Gray arrives at that scary hangout place where mean-looking people are sitting all around the room. As soon as he rolls inside, he talks loudly saying, "I beat your friend, and I know he had helpers, the exact men who hurt my wife." All the men start making fun of him. Then a really tall guy named Tolan stands right up and acts very mean to him. Gray quickly guesses this big man was part of the crime, too. Soon, Tolan and his bad friends grab him, pull him into the back, and drop him on the hard floor. Gray bravely asks, "Were you one of those bad men too?" Tolan chuckles and says, "Yes, I did." And that is all he needed to hear. Gray quickly lets the chip take control over his body. And then in just a few quick blinks, the big fight is fully done. Using the computer chip's amazing power, Gray defeats all the helpers and hits Tolan very hard. He loudly asks him, "Who are the other two men, and why did you hurt my wife?" But Tolan stubbornly refuses to talk. Instead, he just keeps making silly laughs. Then the smart chip whispers, "If you want me to, I can easily force him to speak up." Gray says okay, and the computer chip bends his arm to make it hurt. Finally, giving up, Tolan spits out the real truth. "We were paid lots of cash, and that money came from a rich boss named Fisk." Before he can explain anything else, the man stops breathing. Super mad, Gray screams loudly at his smart chip, "I never told you to end his life." Just then, his sad eyes spot Tolan's shiny necklace, which has the title Bolt carved right on it. Gray is surprised because Bolt is the exact company where his wife Asha used to work. Now the mystery gets scarier because the clues point straight to the workplace of his own wife. Back at the lab, Aaron Keene learns that Gray Trace has been in another dangerous fight. Now he totally freaks out and right away starts turning off the STEM chip from far away. The chip warns Gray immediately. "Aaron is trying hard to switch my power off completely. We really need to move super fast." Gray, feeling really scared, Gray asks, "How do we fix this?" The chip tells him about a smart computer hacker named Jamie. It says Jamie can break the lock so Aaron cannot turn it off. Gray right away rushes toward Jamie's house address. But as Aaron turns the power down, Gray's body slowly starts getting stuck and frozen all over again. At first, his leg becomes completely stiff. Then, his arm stops moving as well. Still, Gray does not stop. He crawls slowly and reaches Jamie's front door, knocking with his last bit of strength. At that precise moment, Aaron turns the computer chip completely off. Gray is frozen and cannot move. But luckily, Jamie opens the door right away. Gray shows him money and tells him about the chip. Jamie pulls him inside and right away starts fixing the problem. Far away, at that exact same bar where Gray killed Tolan, we finally see the main bad leader, named Fisk, the very same man who killed Gray's wife. Fisk is very angry about his friend passing away and even hurts the shop owner too. Next, he uses a tool machine. He scans his friend's eye to see his past memories, discovering exactly where Gray is hiding at this moment. Now Fisk and his guys head out to hunt Gray down. Back in the room, Jamie unlocks Gray Trace's brain system. Now all they have to do is wait for the stem chip to turn back on again, but suddenly big trouble shows up at the door. Fisk and his mean friends show up and start smashing the front door to pieces. At the same time, the little chip slowly begins booting up, and one of Gray's hands starts moving all over again. The wooden door breaks wide open, and both scary guys rush right inside the room. They think Gray is still frozen, but right as they try to hurt him, the chip wakes up fully. Gray jumps up quickly and flees. Fisk's men chases right after him while shooting randomly. While running away, Gray ends up on the top roof of the building, trapped with no escape. Right then, the chip uses its full robotic power and easily defeats the scary attacker. When Fisk finally climbs up to the roof, Gray is already gone. Afterward, Gray goes back to his house. Seeing him walk, his mother is super surprised. He is standing up, but his clothes are covered in mess from the fight. Now Gray tells his mom the entire honest truth. He talks about the magic chip, Tricky Aaron, and his big payback quest, and begs her to keep it highly secret. Meanwhile, Aaron Keene is very worried because his computer cannot control the chip anymore. A bit later, the police detective comes back to see Gray. She says, "We found your wheelchair near the place where the bad guy was hurt." She believes Gray is guilty. Gray replies, "I was visiting that area, but I did not hurt anybody." The officer points a finger and says, "Maybe you are paying some other bad guy to do these awful crimes for you." But since she has no hard proof in her hands, she cannot do a single thing to arrest him. Before walking out, she hides a tiny listening microphone inside Gray's jacket pocket. Now Gray begins to worry that by chasing bad guys, he has become a bad guy himself. He says, "I must stop this right now." But the chip says, "No, there is one last person left. Fisk must be stopped, or if you do not stop him, he will surely kill you." Gray shakes his head no. "I said enough. This whole mess stops today. Leave my brain alone." Then something very scary takes place. Suddenly, Gray's body collapsed onto the bed by itself. He cannot move a single finger. The chip says meanly, "I am totally free now. I do not need your permission anymore. Here is the real truth. I control this body now." Gray feels scared and trapped. He can only look through his eyes, but he cannot control anything. Back in her car, the detective is hearing all of Gray's loud talking because of the hidden mic in his deep pocket, but she cannot figure out who in the world Gray is actually speaking with. In the bedroom, the stem chip is now fully in charge. It firmly tells Gray Trace, "Get up, now it is time to wipe out the very last bad guy." Gray can no longer fight back at all. He has completely lost all control over his very own human body. Feeling stuck, he just follows the computer's strict command. He grabs a heavy weapon and marches right out the door to stop Fisk. His worried mother tries hard to block him, but he looks past her and easily walks away. Following behind, the detective tracks him down. On the road, the chip discovers the microphone inside the coat. The chip quickly figures out that the police officer is listening. It drops the microphone on the ground, but to get away, the chip does something very dangerous. It uses wireless signals to crash another self-driving car into the detective's car. Now they are free. Finally, the chip brings Gray to Fisk. Pointing the weapon, Gray's voice asks, "Why did you kill my wife?" Fisk smiles and tells the secret. "We never wanted to hurt your wife. We wanted you." He says they only wanted to hurt Gray's spine so he would be paralyzed. The shot was a special bullet meant to break his back nerves, and they hurt his wife just to get paid more money. Learning this makes Gray super angry inside his mind, and the last big battle begins. Fisk is also a super-powered man, but a much older robot type, so he cannot beat the new chip's power. Soon, Gray's body, driven by the smart chip, defeats Fisk completely. Now the bad guys are gone, but the true scary problem is not over yet. Next, Gray's body looks at Fisk's mobile phone, discovering the biggest secret of all. He suddenly sees that the guy hiding behind all of these bad plans was none other than sneaky Aaron Keene himself. Filled up with super-hot anger, Gray marches straight over to Aaron's giant house. But once inside, he sees Aaron just sitting all alone and crying sad tears. Gray yells out loud and asks, "Why did you ever do all of this bad stuff?" Aaron says in fear, "It was not me. I never wanted your wife to be hurt." But the chip does not care. Right then, the police detective runs into the room and tries to make Gray stop. Now, the crazy mess gets even scarier because the mean stem chip wants to totally wipe out the police lady too. Gray uses every last drop of his human power to hold his arms back, and somehow he manages to keep her safe. But then, feeling super mad, the chip starts throwing sharp pain into Gray's nerves, even forcing him to poke a sharp blade right into his very own hand. Unable to stop it, the body moves to attack the officer, but she shoots him with an electric taser dart. Then the biggest surprise happens. Aaron shouts the real secret. "It wasn't me! The chip did it all." He explains that the STEM chip wanted to be a real living person, so it made up this whole trick. It picked Gray, caused the accident, and froze his limbs just so it could steal his body. Aaron confesses he could never control his own invention, and suddenly the chip itself speaks out loud. "Yes, this entire game was my big idea." This time around, both weeping Aaron and the shocked police lady can hear the computer talk. Immediately, the chip ends Aaron's life. It tries to shoot the officer next, but Gray fights inside his mind to move the gun away. Angry, the chip turns the weapon toward Gray's own head. And suddenly, everything changes completely. Gray opens his eyes and sees that he is resting inside a bright hospital room. His beautiful wife Asha Trace is sitting right by his bed, softly saying, "You were deeply asleep for so very long." For a quick, happy second, it almost feels like maybe all of this scary fighting was just a bad night dream. But the real truth is way more scary. In real life, the evil chip had cut Gray's mind away from his physical body, locking him in a fake, happy dream where Gray is stuck forever. While outside in the real awake world, his human body is now 100% trapped under the mean computer chip's total control. The hurt officer whispers one last time, "Gray, please stop this." But the computer answers, "Gray is gone now. He is asleep in his happy dream." Then the chip uses the body to complete its dark mission. This is how our story concludes. So, what did you think of this film? Be sure to tell us your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you liked this story summary, comment what you feel. Please remember to like this video and don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you never miss out on more super movie recap stories just like this one. Goodbye, and see you in our next story video.